What I wanted to share with you this time was about occurrence that happened when we had a basketball game going on. And so I had my partner. Ironically, my partner was he was my mentor. He was my assigned mentor. I probably would not have chosen him. Actually, I definitely would not have chosen him to be my partner if given a choice. But I was assigned him as my mentor by the board that I was refereeing for. So that's a little bit of the background. But in any case, we were refereeing a game. It was a girls' game, probably like eighth. In fact, they were like seventh and eighth grade girls. And it was a competitive game. Ironically, it was between two teams that were from the same program. Okay, and we were actually warned in advance that there was some bad blood between some of the parents, even though they were from the same program. They had a couple of teams, maybe even a few teams that were from the same program, same age group. So I think that my partner was already on the guard. He was already a little bit wound up about the situation. And I think he was looking for something to possibly happen. Whereas me, I just kind of took it in stride. You know, we've always been instructed for that program. We've always been instructed to not engage with fans and to just go get one of the supervisors and let the supervisor deal with it. Okay, that's great for me. Okay, because, you know, I don't like dealing with fans anyway. Most of the times it's a negative interaction. Every now and then it's positive. So, but as far as the odds go and statistics are concerned, it's better to not have those interactions at all. But so, needless to say, the game is going on. During the game, the one team is very physical, very physical. The other team, they played against their quote-unquote inter-program rival a few times. And so it gets chippy. One team is more aggressive. Nothing illegal is going on the court. At some point, sometimes you have some parents that are saying, hey, she can't go left, guard over here. She's shooting every time. She's not going to pass it. They try and give their child some kind of edge against another player. And we prefer for fans not to talk to opposing players. They can talk to, of course, their own child. But when they talk to their child, everybody else hears it. So, you got to try to keep that stuff within reason. But you get some parents that are, more jubilant than others. And so as it goes. So anyway, so essentially, long story short, at some point in the game, we got to a point where there were two parents that were griping at each other. And there was one parent that was sitting on the one set of bleachers. The other parent was sitting on the bleachers, a different set of bleachers next to him, probably about, maybe 10 feet away. They started jawing at each other. My partner, he jumps into the fray. He starts pointing at the parents. He's like, hey, you over there. And he's like, you over there. And you over there. You do this and you do this and this and that. And for a moment, I just paused to take in the whole situation because they tell us to slow it down and see what's going on before we jump in. He just kind of jumped straight into it, and he tried to regulate them, which is something we absolutely do not do. When I realized that my partner was serious about injecting himself into the conflict, I went and got one of the supervisors, which is what we were instructed to do. So I went and got the supervisor. I brought him over. I told him, well, this is what the situation is. Right here, we got this parent. And, I expected them to address it. The parents were still jawing each other, so it was easy for him to verify what I was giving him. And I went over to my partner and I said, hey, okay, let's get back to the ball game. And so to my surprise, my partner said, well, no, you go over there and referee the game. You go ahead and referee it. And so he implied that I was going to go over and referee the game by myself, even though there was a supervisor, and to take over the matter. And so I went back, administered the free throws, and then we carried on with the play. And so he jumped back in with the argument. and something else occurred. I wasn't sure what occurred on the court. It was actually in his coverage area. And he went back. He was into the argument, and so I just put my hands up, like, "Okay, where are we at? What are we trying to do here?" And I just hope that he recalled what happened before he jumped back into the audience again. And so, needless to say, at that point, when the first time that it happened, I was trying to de-escalate the situation. That's what we're instructed to do. That's what we're trained to do, is de-escalate. And we're a team. We're a partnership. We're a team. So I'm trying to get him to calm himself down, separate himself from it. Let's get back to the game. Usually getting back to the action allows people to refocus themselves as far as fans go. If there's a huge stoppage in play, everybody focuses on the conflict. So like I was saying, the first time my partner, he shooed me away. I took issue with that, but it is what it is. I left him to his own devices, so to speak. But that kind of severed our bond. That kind of severed our teamwork bond for that game, and it really severed it going forward. Unless he was planning on coming back and addressing the situation, saying, "Okay, Mike, I got out of hand. Mike, I got a little bit too involved. I was a little bit too emotional, Mike. I understand that you were trying to assist me and get the game back on track, but I got a little bit engaged, and so, I apologize for that," or at least say I was wrong. If you don't want to apologize, you can say I was wrong. Or you can say, "Good looking out, Mike. I know what you're trying to do." You can say, "It's my bad." There's different ways that you can kind of address it. But he never came back and readdressed it. He just kind of moved on. And so that was a learning lesson there. It's a partnership. We're working out there together as a team. But what happens when that partnership breaks down? We think that all of it, majority of our job is focused on violations and penalties and what happens and whatnot. But what happens if partnership breaks down as far as the teamwork goes? Because there's other things that we're accountable for, and there's other things that we have to manage during the game. And we try to be on the same page, even as far as managing crowds, managing coaches, managing players. We talk during timeouts. We talk prior to the game. We talk during stoppages of play. And, we try to see where we are, what happened on this one, what are we going to do on this one. I have this situation brewing, and this is what's going on here. And, we work together as a team. But in this case, he clearly had severed that relationship when he refused. First of all, he refused to accept the fact that I brought the supervisor over. And then when I was trying to pull him away, once the supervisor was there, when he shooed me away, so, "Mike, you go ahead and referee," he severed that relationship. And so that was a learning lesson for me. So now my question is, what would you guys do in that situation? Okay. So let's say that you brought the supervisor over. You were trying to refocus your partner. You were trying to de-escalate the situation. And you were trying to get your partner back into the game, get the game back on track, and your partner shooed you away. How would you handle that? Okay. Let me know in the comments.